guys, what is going on? Blossom is back, and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives and Garage Review. Now, before we get into this, after I give this guy his scores, stick around till the end because I'm just going to give a small announcement on how I'm going to be changing the garage submission process a little bit. It's not nothing life-changing, it's not anything massive, but it's something that you guys might want to know just going for the future. So with that said, let's get into the video. Alright guys, so here we are, the next garage that we're reviewing, and I don't even know which garage number this is. I think it's like 26, 27. It's been a while, and I'm kind of proud of myself that this series is still a thing and people still like to watch it. So today we have, he wants to go by Riced Drives. You might know him, he is very active on the Discord servers, and he also gave me some other information about his garage. So this garage has 6,955 trophies. Now I got this video from him yesterday, so this is a very recent garage. 20 out of 1,000 renown, about 6,000 cash and 520 gold, RQ 500. I think this is the first garage I'll be reviewing after the new RQ rescaling. So in terms of commons, he has 75, uncommons 87, rare 109, super rare 112, ultra rare 83, epic 33, and 9 legendary. So with that said, let's get into the commons real quick. Now, in terms of my notes, nothing out of the ordinary. I actually like your common collection a lot. You have a great variety, and I'm starting to see that in a lot of kind of, I guess, lower tier players. Not lower tier players per se, but kind of like players under 20,000 trophies. That, you know, a lot of players kind of go for that strong common range. So I'm starting to think that I was the outlier, that when I was a weaker player myself, I didn't collect any commons. In fact, I had about 5. So it's nice to see the good foundation here. A lot of classic alphas, a lot of classic Italian Renaissance cars, a bit of a stutter over there, and some of them max, some of them not. Some really interesting cars that I usually never see maxed out. So like the Mini Cooper S 8766, you never really see those. The Lotus Elite, it actually looks pretty good. 759 handling for RQ14. Yeah, just really a wide variety, huge array. Volkswagen New Beetle Cabriolet. Never seen that car maxed out before. You know, it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, but honestly, having a wide variety of maxed out cars is rarely a bad thing. The only thing that really hurts you is the fact that it takes up all your slots. And I guess you had to use a little bit of cash infused material to get it to 3 stars. Anyway, moving on to uncommon, I got a couple notes here. I would say first off, max out the TVR Timar, the Opel Kadett GTE, and get yourself a Pontiac Trans Am silver screen edition. Now, not the rare one, but the uncommon one, which is the Firebird Trans Am from Smokey and Bandit. So some pretty interesting cars here. We got, you know, a great variety. We got performance standard. That was an all-surface one, just, you know, outside of the screen. Slick tires now have the Twizzys. So once again, it's a very decent collection. Once again, 2 Defender 110s, 2 Lotus Europa twin cams. I mean, personally, this is advised if you play a lot of clubs, right? Because I play a lot of clubs. If you do play a lot of clubs, do, you know, do think about maxing out duplicates of really good cars. So, you know, like getting a second Mazda Eunice, a second Mazda RX-7, max out your second Europa 47, all that kind of good stuff. Other things I want to say is I would recommend a Jaguar XJ12 RQ29, as well as the Chevrolet S10 Blazer Extreme RQ25. It's also kind of nice to feel and to not say to get the Alfa Romeo SZ Common. The one that used to be RQ5. I don't know what the new RQ is now, because he actually has it maxed out, which is really, really cool. I like that car a lot. I really do. So, moving on to rare, you have a lot of key max cars here you have a lot of key cars here that aren't max. So let me just go down the list. Like, as you can see here, the Opel Manta 400 from 1979. Such a great car. You have this thing maxed out, it's 5989. Very, very good thing. So here are the cars I would recommend, especially for championships as well, if you find yourself stuck, because you have a lot of key cars here in your championship, such as that Renault Kadjar, and these are cars that can help you through in the championship, so do watch out for those. So the cards I recommend is the Opel Manta 400, Opel Manta 400 Rally, Alfa Romeo Giulia GTA Stradale, the Renault Kadjar, the Alfa Romeo Alpacid, the GMC Denali XT, the Vauxhall Chevette, there we go, as you can see is unboxed, as well as the Ghibli SS. Once again, it's pretty surprising to see that you don't have the Ghibli SS Max. It's such an essential car, especially if you don't have the silver screen rare Pontiac Firebird, but you have cars like the Bentley Azure Max, which is pretty interesting to see. That Volvo is also pretty decent. It hits about 90 handling for a rare car, which is pretty impressive. And it's always nice to see a max out Lotus Elise 1.6, as well as a Nissan Skyline hardtop, some of my favorite rares in the game, as well as the Code. The Code isn't my favorite rare in the game, it's just a good car to see. So I wouldn't recommend any more key rares for you to look out for, because you already have a lot of key rares that you have that you should really look into working on. So moving on to super rares, these are the cars that I would recommend you to max out. First one is the Alfa Romeo Giulia TZ, the Cadillac ELR. Surprisingly, how do you not have a max out ELR? Buick Regal Turbo, and the RX-7, which is RQ49. I also really like your Ford Sierra RS Cosworth, which we should be seeing in a bit. There we go. Actually, boom. This is actually pretty cool. I like this. The fact that the Cadillac ELR isn't max is a bit strange, because the ELR is basically as useful as the C2R2. The C2R2 in the dry is what the ELR is in the rain. But it's nice to see some other cars here. I love to see a Daytona IROC. This is not a car that I really recommend to a lot of people, especially when they don't have it, but honestly, seeing it now, it's actually a very good car. I do have it myself maxed out. 5491. And one thing that really makes the Daytona special, Daytona IROC, I guess, is that it's the only Dodge and the only American super rare that goes over 90 handling that isn't a prize car. So that's actually really cool. Really nice to see the BMW 850 CSI, one of my favorite BMWs of all time. The Aston Martin V8 Vantage is also very nice to see, but the real starlight here is that Ford Sierra RS Cosworth from 1986. This is a car that I've had in my garage. I've had it locked and I've wanted to max it out forever, but I really never had the chance because there was never really an event that called for it. But it's a really cool car, really cool picture. I'm a huge fan, and it's nice to see the stats because I never knew what the stats were maxed out. 5186, I'm pretty sure it's low. So the 0 to 60 is quite weak, but I like that handling for sure. So definitely not a bad looking car to get. Anyway, moving on, those are all my notes for super rare, so we're just gonna see this throughout. Then we're gonna get into ultras real quick. No other recommendations, especially after the 4 or 5 already mentioned to you. So moving on to ultra rares, you have a lot of Fuse Ultras, and one quirk and feature of this garage, which I found really strange, was that you don't have a single maxed out Epic, which is a bit concerning, but you have a lot of Fuse Ultras, right? So I'm gonna list them off right now. You have a lot to work with to put into your Epics, right? Golf GTI, Griffith, TVR Griffith 200, Chrysler Crossfire SRT6, the G500 Mercedes, Mustang 2.3, Alfa Romeo Giulia Veloce, Peugeot 308 GTI, Mercedes AMG G55, keep the G63, in fact max the G63 but not the G55 and the G500, Magnum SRT8, Porsche Cayman, and the Porsche Boxster, the two that you see here at RQ58. These are all cars that I would let go. I would let go of that Maserati Quattroporte as well as a TVR 450 SE. I didn't write that in my notes, but you have a lot of Fuse material Ultras, and yeah, it's just really cars that you should let go of. Another thing here is for Ultras to max, the Mercedes G63, the BMW Z4M Coupe, and the RQ62 Porsche Boxster Spider. Now, this ultra rare garage is, very quirky in its own right. It doesn't really have a lot of key ultras, right? In terms of key ultras I see here, I see the Porsche 968, I see the RS200, and maybe somewhere down the line we get cars like the 340R, the Lotus 340R, and the Chevrolet Trailblazer. Lotus Carlton is pretty good car. I wouldn't say it's a key car, and then also the Evo 4. But there's some key cars missing, right? No Roof BTR, no Colorado ZR2, no Tamora. I don't think I saw a Thanos Countach as well. So definitely some ultra rares you're really missing out on, and yeah, I think you should look out for those. Honestly, with the new SCG finals going on as well, if you can't get tier 1, I would recommend thinking about getting tier 3. Getting a second Porsche 968 Turbo would be very, very beneficial. Now, I don't know what the upgrade is on this 968. I personally don't own this car. It's one of the key ultras I don't own. So I don't know if this is 969, 699, 996, but let's say this car was 699. Then you got, tier 3 in the SCG finals, you got another one. I would recommend 996ing it because it has really good MRA, like really good MRA, and also very impressive 0 to 60 compared to the other Porsches in the game. So a lot of ultra rare fuse, right? And as you can see, this is the epic collection right here. There's a lot of epic fuse in this garage as well, but what really is interesting is that there's not a single maxed out epic. As you can see, after the SLS Roadster, we jump into legendary, which is pretty insane to see how you've gotten so far with so little. So yes, epic fuse. These are the epic fuses, the cars that I would get rid of. The epics I would get rid of to put into your legendaries: the Volkswagen Touareg 911 Carrera S, the Infiniti G35, the Dodge Charger Scat Pack, the RQ69 Evo 10, and the one of your Lamborghini Diablo Roadsters, which you can get rid of after the SCG finals. Yeah, like I said, no maxed epic. So really, time to focus on an epic to max, right? You could either focus on an epic to max that, would be a key car that would serve you, which would serve as a key car in a Tri-Series event. So I guess you could max out the Diablo VT Roadster so you could do better in the SCG, but honestly, I wouldn't max out the Diablo VT Roadster unless you know that maxing that car out will win you the SCG. If not, there's no point. So some no-brainers, some really easy cars to max you that won't let you down would be, that you own as well, would be the SLS Roadster, the Mazda Furai, or the Roof BTR2. If this was like a year ago, I would also recommend the CT6. The CT6 is a great car, but it's just not the best anymore. Really, the standard epic king, I would have to give the crown to the Jaguar I-Pace. So the CT6 isn't really the best. I don't have it. I've wanted one for quite a while. I don't really need one anymore, so, whatever. So yeah, I would recommend the SLS Roadster, the BTR2, or the Furai. The Furai, very twisty. It has slick tires, but very low 0 to 60. Very, very good handling. Very good twisty car. BTR2, it has that 90s tag. It's a pretty old school machine. Really good MRA and, decent handling. And then you have the AMG SLS Roadster, which is honestly one of the best epics in the game, right? Amazing MRA, amazing 0 to 60, high top speed, good handling. Honestly, thinking about it, I would either go for the Furai or the SLS Roadster, so that's up to you. You want fast or you want twisty, right? Now, moving on to the legendaries real quick. Very interesting stuff here, right? That's a stock Bugatti Chiron. Insane. Considering this is a pretty weak garage, the high-end legendary count is pretty insane. Chiron 962. That's like the non-prize car version of owning a Chiron Sport and the 918. Very, very good cars. The 600 LT Coupe as well is a very, very good GE prize car. Not prize car, GE legendary, sorry. So it's a very nice collection. I think in your weaker side you have the R390 Aerial Atom, which is pretty impressive. So no RQ27s. Oh wait, no, the R390 used to be 27, right? Never mind. I know the Aerial Atom used to be 28. Zonda's decent, 16's decent. Some very good epics, really. And it's nice to see that you did not sell off your McLaren 12C. So those are the notes. If you wanted to max a legendary, let's say you wanted to max a legendary or you wanted to focus on a legendary, I would recommend the 962C. If you had one, if this was my garage and I had one legendary I really wanted to max out, it would be the 962C. But that said, let's get into the scores. Here we are, on to the Blossom score. So starting off with the Blossom category, in terms of uniqueness, like I said, it's a pretty, generic, under 7,000, under 20,000 garage, right? It's a strong low end, but it actually has a pretty strong legendary collection as well. But the epics, the ultras, pretty weak. It's something, it's something that you would see from a garage with that kind of trophies, under 20k. So in terms of uniqueness, I would just have to say, I'll give you extra points for that stock Chiron. I'll give you a 6 over a 5. Moving on to patriotism. Didn't really see any particular country stand out from the rest, so I'm going to give you a 5 on that. Moving on to character, definitely a little bit of character in this garage. It's rare that you see a garage with not a single maxed epic and a stock Bugatti Chiron. Most people, when they get a Bugatti Chiron, they lose their minds and they want to start it immediately. So with that said, I'm going to give you an 8, which gives you a total score of 1319. Now, moving on to the top drives category, or the top drive scale. In terms of scale, it's a pretty decent garage. It's pretty decent size. It's nothing too massive, but it's definitely not small. I'm going to give you an 8. Moving on to strength, once again, you know, not a lot of key ultras. You know, the super rares are okay, the commons are good. You know, the rares and uncommons are kind of like a hit or miss, and the ultra rares were definitely very weak. The epics were very, very weak, so not a very strong garage, and I'll have to give you a 4. Moving on to versatility, however, you know, like I said, lower end, the versatility is pretty good. Higher end, not really. In terms of your high-end garage, I see, you know, like one good standard, you know, a couple slicks, couple performance, not a lot of off-road capability, not a lot of all-surface, not a lot of standard as well. You know, you do have the Cadillac 16 to be fair, but it's nothing too special. I'm gonna give you a 5. Moving on to the lethal level, it's a very specific garage, isn't it? You know, when you have that Chiron, you definitely are pretty dangerous with it, just with it alone. That's what makes the Chiron so great. And then you add that on with the 962 and the 600 LT. You know, high end, it's pretty good, but it's nothing really potent, and I'm going to give you a 6. Finally, potential, definitely missing out on a lot of cool cars, key cars as well. But in terms of rare, your rare potential is very good because you have a lot of key cars there already. You just need to max it out. But in terms of, you know, getting a bigger variety, you need to do that. So in terms of potential, I'm going to go with a 7, really, because I don't see a lot of key cars there already that you just need to max out. A lot of key cars are missing. So the total score would be, oh, math. Let me get out the calculator for this one. 30. 30 plus 19 is 49. So the final score is 49. So thank you so much, Rice, for your garage. Now, with that said, let me just talk through about the new procedure and how garage reviews are going to go. I'm going to have the link in the description, basically. If you want to submit your garage, I'll have the link in the description. It's going to be the same submission form as it always has been. However, when it prompts you for submitting your YouTube video unlisted of your garage, you don't need to do that, right? Basically, what you want to do is just sign your name in. Sign your name in, and I'm going to work through it through the lists, first come, first serve basis. And once I get to your name, I'll contact you on Instagram or Discord or whatever name that you put in. The submission will ask for your Instagram name or your Discord name, and then you can send me your garage. So then, you know, it'll be a very updated garage, and it won't be a video that you made maybe like 3 months ago, which I'll be reviewing, right? And then finally, once again, if you want to support the channel, there are a couple options in the garage submission review. If you want to skip the line, because I don't do these videos very often, I do it maybe once every 2 weeks, sometimes one garage, sometimes 2 garages. So if you want to skip the line, skip, you know, the 50-60 people waiting, there are options for you to do so. It's about $8. It's for you to get a dedicated garage and a skip, and about $4 if you want to just skip the line, but then you'll share your garage with someone else, which means 1 video, 2 garages. So really appreciate the support if you want to do so. So with that said, hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Remember to take care and wash your hands. Blossom out.